All right, everyone, welcome back to the Circle Club. Today we are watching Moonlight, just dropped from Marvel. Make sure you're subscribed. Also, I have Corey here with us, our Marvel expert. And just a little bit of a tease, we're going to be doing a Marvel podcast, and we're going to be covering from start to finish the whole series. We're going to be catching all the new stuff. Corey, anything you want to say before we check this trailer out?
Yeah, no, I think a lot of exciting stuff. I think the things that most people should be excited for is a more down-to-earth take on these Marvel movies, and being able to digest it a little bit more in an understanding than some of these comic book nerds that we are like, so to speak. So we're trying to make it a little bit more digestible for you guys to understand what's going on and keep up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
But all right, without further ado, let's jump into this trailer, and this is Moonlight.
Let's go.
Oscar Isaac, man.
Hello,
I like the Rubik's Cube off the jump. Tells you he's smart.
Yeah, seriously.
I can't tell the difference
Chaining himself up
between my waking life and dreams.
Hello, and welcome to
What? What's this dude? This dude's tied up. Oh, we got Cuddy in the background.
I think I'm losing it.
We'll catch you on. You're bloody useless, Stevie.
Stephen. I can't tell the difference.
He looks like he doesn't get any sleep.
between
None.
life and dreams.
Ooh, I like that little cut where he's like looking at himself.
Thank you.
Ooh.
What's the
Oh, they
contact
just
lens?
included something
Hope you
here.
find
Yeah,
it.
we'll have to roll back to that. It's March. Dude, March? Like, yo, Disney is giving
quick
us, they're
turnaround.
giving us so much content nowadays, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're alive.
Did he just pull a cell phone out of his esophagus?
Why did you call me Mark? It must be very difficult.
Oh, shoot, man. Ethan Hawke.
He's in Hawke.
I don't know anything about this character other than that he's like a CIA guy or spy or something.
He's. We'll get into it.
Seems like we're going all over the world for this one.
The chaos.
Yo, that suit is crazy, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. We're
Wow.
we're now in a new territory of Marvel, bro.
Oh yeah, 100%. This is getting right into what I was talking about with you though.
Like we're
That
now
like Midnight Suns vibes.
like, bro. I mean, just off the bat, like the whole feel, like it's got that dark, like Batman undertone to it, you know?
So you just nailed it for me, right? Like I think that's the like the closest example to what most people are gonna like see this hero's like. It's a very Batman-esque type of character. However, it's a lot different in like their backstories and who they are, right? Like
So because I don't know any of the Moonlight background whatsoever. So is he like imagining these things in his head and then it's like also reality? What's going on?
yeah, so this is like the gist of where it all starts for this character and who he is before he becomes Moonlight. So I forget what the name of the actual disorder is, but basically he has like a multiple personality disorder, right? And he struggles sleeping. So a lot of times, right, like, and I think that's what they're trying to portray through this trailer is like he isn't always aware of what he's actually doing, right? It's kind of like similar to like I think Split, the movie Split in a sense where he has like these. And I think they tie right into that because one of the things I just noticed in here was like, it's like he answers the phone. He's like, "Did you just call me Mark?" Right? Like that's not even his, like, his name, right? So I think
he's got DI. That's called DID. It's dissociative identity disorder.
Yes,
so
that's what it
is. A lot of people call it like schizophrenia, but like that's not quite what it is. That's something a little bit different. So all right, that's cool. I did not know that about this character, and that explains a bit more why he's like thinking it's like life dreams balancing in between.
That character, I forget what the exact character's name is, but that's supposed to be the character that ultimately I think gives him his powers as Moon Knight, right? So a lot of like the backstory behind Moon Knight is he actually gets his powers through one of the like Egyptian gods, I think. I forget which god it was, and that's why I'm messing up the name here, but basically he gets his powers through this entity, and that's why later on in this trailer you start seeing like the pyramids of Egypt and like all that Egyptian type of like lore. So my initial reaction is, based off what I'm seeing here, like it looks like he works in a museum, so I have a feeling there's going to be some type of like, I don't know, like night at the museum.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Like he might touch like some type of artifact, and all of a sudden, boom, like this entity, this god, just like chooses him. And I think with his personality disorder that he has, or the DID that you talked about, it's going to be an interesting take to see how he juggles all this.
So I looked it up, and the Egyptian moon god Khonshu is who. Khonshu, is who gives it to him. But I know this is Ethan Hawke, and he's supposed to play Randall Spector. Now I don't know who Randall Spector is, and if he is a big name or anyone either. But what I do know is Ethan Hawke he's a legit actor. I mean, this dude is legit. Now everyone's bowing to him in this scene. Any thoughts about that? Like,
see, so I'm curious because I honestly don't know a lot about Arthur Harrow either, right? And I think the thing for me, I'm wondering is like, okay, like, does this, like, I'm starting to think maybe, and I'm trying to be like you too. I'm trying to look up less. I'm trying to like plot more and like what things could be like actually becoming. I'm gonna play off of what we're talking about right here. So like, right, Khonshu is where Moon Knight's gonna get his powers. Now, is Arthur Harrow getting his powers from a different Egyptian god, maybe like Anubis or something like that? Because for those people to bow down like that, it just gives me indication of like things like Loki in the first Avengers, right? Where he's a god and like he's telling everybody to bow down, and initially people do, right, before the old man stands up. So I'm starting to think that maybe he gets some type of powers from an Egyptian god as well, and that's why he's able to kind of claim this dominance over these individuals. That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. There's definitely some sort of like thing going at play, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was something like the moon god thought that, you know, this was the correct path, and this other god thought, you know, no, we can't trust these humans to make these decisions. So that god embodies Arthur there. Something else I noticed just visually too is it was kind of giving me like a Yu-Gi-Oh vibe. Is so when he's running, you can kind of see there's like a moon crest as he's running, and like following him. Now I don't know if he's got the costume on, or if that's just supposed to be some type of symbolism thing, or that like there's someone, you know, that's who he really is inside. But I'm think like we talk a ton about this offline, that we're like definitely now in this territory of Marvel where things were gonna start to become a bit more spiritual, a bit more like cosmic. And I'm just excited for it because it looks like just from this alone, like that they've got it like down pat.
Yeah. The thing I would say I'm excited for too, playing off of what you said, is like this darker aspect, right? Like you're starting to get into the characters like Blade, Black Knight, right? So they're really trying to dive into, and we use the reference Midnight Suns, right? Because that's a lot of that kind of dark, mystical things going on. But the thing I really like about this in that direction is honestly because of the one thing I really do like about DC movies. I think DC movies, they get a lot of heat, but one thing that they do very well is they can be very gringy, dirty, grimy, right? Like kind of like how some real comic books are like, right? It's not, these are superheroes fighting villains at the end of the day, right? And I think the big thing that we forget, right, through kind of the corporate entities like Disney, right? It's like you're catering to kids a lot. And I think a lot of people forget a lot of these characters are very dark characters. And I think we're starting to dive a little bit more into catering to those fans a little bit, where we're looking at more of the grimier, dirtier, dingier type of characters. And that's what this character is reminding me a lot about Batman, and almost like the Robert Pattinson that we're starting to see in these trailers. It's a lot darker, right? And I think that's a direction that's really cool. But also something to note too, like to what I was talking about before, with his disorder, is like a lot of this might be his like ultimate, and you think about other shows, is like the ultimate run up to accepting who you are as the hero, right? That's why a lot of movies are. I think throughout this show, what I'm predicting is that he's gonna struggle to determine whether this is actually a transformation that's happening or whether he's just like making this up in his head. And I think eventually by the end of this show, it's gonna obviously come full head that this is something that is real to him, right? And I think he's gonna struggle because of his disorder to determine whether this is actually happening or if he's just maybe dreaming about it, right? And it's not actually happening.
They release it at such a perfect time because I think once you have something like No Way Home, you need to like give people a breather, like, and a chance to like settle down and calm. Like, because what happened after Endgame, this personally happened to me, I know it happened to a lot of others, is once Endgame was over and we got like WandaVision, some of these other things, I was instantly thinking like, okay, WandaVision, like, let's keep the story rolling. You know what I mean? So like I went into WandaVision a little disappointed, or left WandaVision a little disappointed, because I previously went into it with this like notion that like, oh, they're going to keep going from Endgame. We're going to figure out what happened. And like, that's not always the case, because like you said, they're doing a lot of world building and all this other stuff. But
to your point though, on that, I think the importance behind, and Marvel got very lucky, I think, with the pandemic, in the sense of it gave them time to really establish how they wanted to attack things. And to what you're saying, and it gave more of that pause between the sagas, right? Like we talk about the first 3 phases in the lead up to Endgame being that Infinity Saga. And now we're in phase 4, and it's a whole new saga. We're doing world building. So I think having that break established, hey, listen, like, right, we're on to the next phase, and it gives you that time to think, okay, like everything we're getting is obviously wrapping up some loose ends and tying the dots from phase 3 to phase 4, but we are in a new time, and something that they're doing very well with that point of like consistently having the content keep coming and being like a time frame that's digestible. It allows us to continue building on this phase 4 and understanding where they're trying to go with it without having these long periods of, it's like, okay, what's next, right? Like that wasn't enough, I need more answers, right? We're always kind of constantly getting those answers in enough time that makes us not say, you know what, it's been way too long. Like I need answers. I need answers. So I think that's something that's helping them out.
All right, so
this phase 4.
That is Moon Knight. Let us know what you thought in the comments below. Corey, thanks for coming on, my man. I'm very excited for the new Marvel content we have coming out. Make sure you guys subscribe so that way you can find out and hear any of that stuff. So thanks again, and we're signing out.